Hi, this is the Change and Grow Wellness Show for you, the busy professional who wants to live a healthier, happier life with increased energy and productivity. And this show is powered by the amazing men and women of Positive Program Network. And tonight, I'm your ghost, Jackie Grant from We Grant Fitness and Health, and I transform busy female professionals, hormones and habits without giving up chocolate and wine, calorie counting, spending all the time in the gym. So tonight, we are talking about what are the benefits of Thai massage. And our guest tonight is Neil Kamara. Am I saying your name right, Neil, or am I said it correct?
It's Camarnio.
Camarnio, see, I told you I said it correct, but it's fine. Right, Camarnio. So Neil was a promising footballer as a child and lost contact with structured exercise before specialising in Thai massage. He runs his own studio in London, performing Thai massage and bodywork. So welcome, Neil.
Thank you.
Neil, if we start off with you just telling us a bit about yourself and what made you go into Thai massage?
So massage was something that I was kind of drawn to a few years ago. I was working in social care. I worked in social care for about 12 years. And it's the kind of work that's really demanding sometimes. I think after a while, I kind of got to the point I started questioning, can I do this like for a long, long time? And I was really looking for something that I could do and be my own boss as well. That was something that I found really frustrating about being an employee, being in the system, dealing with all of the stresses and strains of that. So massage was something that I had an idea a while ago. Actually, the training that I got came about because my partner's a yoga teacher, and the school that I ended up training at is the London Institute of Thai Yoga Massage. So a one day training came up on my partner's Facebook, and she asked me if I wanted to go. So I had a plan to look into different types of massage. Hadn't done any of that research, and then this event came up, and I ended up going to the one day training, and I just found it like I knew I'd found where I needed to be from that first day.
Brilliant. So what did you do in social care? What type of work were you doing?
I mean, I made a big change to go into social care. I used to work in chemical production, which is a massive change. So when I first got into social care, I was kind of working in a care home. I worked with adults with learning disabilities. I then worked for 6 years in a mental health rehabilitation centre. And then a few other things. Did some volunteer work with young people, worked in an older person's mental health team, worked with people who had neurological conditions. That actually kind of segued quite nicely into doing the massage, because that was my last job in social care, working with people who had neurological conditions. So working with people who'd been in accidents or had strokes or degenerative conditions like MS. So actually quite a big part of my job was assisting people with their physio exercises. So a physio would come in and do an assessment, and then as a member of the team, we would support people every day to do their exercises. And I also was leading, so like twice a week, we would take a certain number of clients to the local gym, and we would have a gym session. So I quite quickly became like the lead staff in that session as well. So moving from kind of practical and emotional support to a more physical support and kind of a physical therapy, actually that job worked out as quite a nice segue to what I do now, actually.
Yeah, it makes sense. It completely makes sense, the transition that you've made, actually.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Thai massage. What is it?
So it's the kind of thing that I always say there's two stories. So as a lot of things that are taken from one culture by another culture, they tend to take bits and pieces that make sense, or they take something and then it becomes a bit of a caricature of itself. So there's a lot of people learning Thai massage in Europe, or even a lot of people who've been to Thailand as a tourist And actually the type of treatment that you get is a little bit of a caricature of what the kind of history of Thai massage is. So my teacher actually changed how she teaches 2-3 years ago when she connected with a different lineage. So rather than teaching things that are part of this kind of European Thai massage, she was able to connect with some people in Thailand who follow the traditions from, they're called the Lana people in the north of Thailand. So most people have heard of Bangkok, but Chiang Mai is the city in the north that's kind of the city of the Lana region. So basically the kind of lineage that I have trained in, that I'm part of, I'll quickly explain. So the people who would do this type of treatment, they're called Rusi, and it's like a shaman kind of. It's like a kind of a monk, a shaman, a doctor. They're the holders of the traditional sciences within Thai culture. So they would study things like the stars, astrology, but they would also study medicine. People would bring sick, or even like they would bring dead bodies to the Rusi. So at the same time in Europe, where doctors were paying grave robbers to go dig up bodies so they could study anatomy, the Rusi they would actually leave some dead bodies outside, and because it's a tropical country, they would obviously decompose quite quickly, and they would go every day and kind of be with the bodies and actually study anatomy. So it's more from the perspective of medicine and healing. So physical therapy is part of that. There's other parts of it as well. I'm not saying I have all of the parts. I'm primarily trained in the physical therapy, but increasingly I'm able to incorporate some of the other stuff as well, such as kind of herbal remedies and a few other different techniques beyond what most people would think as massage. I was in Thailand on a study visit in November and really connected a lot to the lineage and especially the Buddhist roots of Thai massage. The two are very intricately connected. Although I couldn't kind of in all honesty say that I'm Buddhist, but it's something that I study to a degree from the perspective of the theory of how Thai massage works, and the theory that it's based on is actually literally kind of from the teachings of the Buddha. There's no real like interpretation. If you look at the teachings, like it's laid out. This is how the body works. This is how to rectify issues. So it can be a little bit difficult matching up the two perspectives, but I just try to take what makes sense to me in this moment and use that in a way that makes sense for me to give a treatment. So although I call my treatment massage, and it is massage, it's quite different to what most people in this country would think of if they just saw the term massage. To me, it's a bit more holistic, and it's more about general health.
Okay. So what would you see as the key characteristics or benefits of the Thai massage that you do?
I suppose how it differs from, actually, I should be careful talking about other modalities because I haven't studied them, right? But the key components I would say, I suppose, in Thai is it's quite a physiologically based way of looking at the world, way of looking at the body. So, for example, I know a little bit about, for example, in Chinese medicine, they'll talk about meridians and qi, and a lot of different modalities have quite almost like a cosmic explanation of energy. Whereas, even though it's based in Buddhism, the Thai massage that I've been trained in it doesn't really talk about this kind of mythical energies. Everything is very physiologically based. So one of the main things that is quite particular to it, though, is a way of thinking about the body as having kind of channels. But again, it's quite physiologically based. So, for example, between a bone and a muscle, the muscle attaches at the top and the bottom of the bone. So if the muscle is not overly tense, you should kind of be able to feel between the bone and the muscle. The muscle shouldn't be pulled very closely onto the bone. But if we get a lot of tension, that tends to happen. So for example, a channel in this sense would be the space between the bone and the muscle. So in that example, if I was working on that limb, I would be trying to bring space between the bone and the muscle. And sometimes that can mean pressing quite directly after the muscle's warmed up, pressing quite directly into that channel. What that also does as well is it stimulates what in Thai they call sen. It's a word that means lines. So, for example, my teacher's like done dissections and stuff like that, and she explains if you were dissecting an arm, you take the skin and the muscle off, you'll see lots of lines. You'll see the nerves, you'll see the veins and arteries, you'll see your lymphatic system, your immune system, you'll see ligaments and tendons and connective tissues. So a lot of the time, if I'm working those channels, the aim is to directly stimulate those things. So we might feel like, oh, I've got a lot of tension, I need a massage. And we tend to think that the tension is just in the muscles. But as a result of muscle tension, you can get reduced blood flow. Like the space that these lines have to work in becomes compacted. So you get reduced blood flow, so you get reduced oxygen and nutrients to different parts of your body. You might get a kind of numbness or a nerve pain because the nerves don't have the proper space to work in.
Right.
And you might get sick more often because your lymphatic system is being compressed or doesn't have the right space to work in. So I think actually saying that, I think that's the right way that I'm describing it as far as bringing space. Our body, there's no spaces in our body. Everything is tightly packed in. There's so much happening under our skin. But through stress, through bad posture, through ill health, through, kind of ways that we use our body in the modern world that aren't conducive to health, things can get compressed and compacted and twisted, and that can lead to further issues. So the aim of the treatment is really to bring space and allow not just the reduction of muscle tension, but the enlivening of the whole system. So one of the things that I notice, I won't even speak about when I do treatments, but if I get a treatment from someone who I trained with, as well as feeling very relaxed after, I also feel very energetic. And it's kind of this almost contradictory thing where you feel full of energy, but you also feel very calm and relaxed. So I'm really happy that this is the training that I ended up finding, for sure.
Good. That's brilliant. So tell me, have you heard of it, Thai massage being called the lazy man's yoga?
I haven't heard that. No. No, I haven't. I mean, I guess I can understand why, because like I said, my teacher's school is she calls Thai yoga massage, and a lot of the reason why it sometimes gets called Thai yoga massage in the West is because it does have, just like Buddhism is from India, but it's practiced in Thailand. Yoga's from India, but it's also practiced in Thailand. But in this context, where I was talking before about the holders of the traditional sciences, the Rusi, they were people who would practice yoga, and there's places in Thailand where you can go and you can see statues of them in certain kind of yogic poses. And this is like a self-care system that they developed, and it's sometimes called like a type of Thai yoga. But what happened was, from this being something they developed as something they could do for themselves, because they had this standing in the community and they were studying medicine, it became something that they then used as a treatment for people. So in my treatments, I mean, not always, but if the person's issue calls for it, like I might use stretching, sometimes quite a lot of stretching. But I suppose the lazy person's tag comes from the fact that I will do the stretching for the person. So it's a passive stretch. So it's receiving the stretch, but without the muscle engagement. And this type of passive stretching can be really powerful. It's quite different to holding a stretch yourself, where you're exerting force, you're acting on all of your muscles. It's very much about, I want my clients to give up control of their body and let me take them through range of motion or stretching. So yeah, I haven't heard that phrase before, no. So
new one for you.
Yeah, thanks.
So tell us how it takes place. Tell us how if someone was to come for a Thai massage, what would happen?
So me personally, I always do a consultation before the first treatment. Certainly, I know people that I've studied with always will do a consultation before the first treatment. How I do it is because I know that some people will kind of think, oh, I would just want to pay for an hour's massage, and they might not necessarily be expecting what I'm doing. So I don't want anyone to think, oh, well, I don't want to pay for the consultation and a treatment, so I'm just going to go somewhere else. So I do the consultation for free because it's vitally important to the treatment. I don't work in a way where you come in and lay on the mat and I just go through a sequence. I don't know what I'm going to do until the person comes in and we start talking. And even then, during the treatment, I might find something that then needs my attention. So what I tend to do is, if the person comes in, and also depends how long the treatment is, right? So we'll do the consultation. I generally offer 1.5 or 2 hour treatments. Obviously, depending how long it is, we can do more or less work. So what I'll tend to do is, say the person has sore shoulders, gets headaches, and has a bit of a pain in the leg. What I'll do is kind of say, well, what's the top priority? And usually you can tell, because the top priority is the thing they start telling you about first. So sometimes I use, some of the skills I learned in social care to listen and to reflect back. So, if someone starts talking to me about one issue, and then when we come to start, they say, oh, I think this, my knee is the main thing. I might just say, well, you spent 3/4 of the time talking about your headaches. Do you think we should maybe do that? But it's always about agreeing with the client. So what I'll do is, if there are 3 things, I'll ask them to say, what is the priority? So, 1, 2, 3, I start on number 1 and we see where we get to. I think the really important thing is that it's a treatment for healing. That's the perspective. There are times when relaxation is the first step you need to be able to receive the healing. So, like a massage that is kind of purely for relaxation, I don't have anything bad to say about that at all. And sometimes I do, I might do an hour's treatment and it's purely a relaxation massage, because the person needs to relax before they can receive any more in-depth treatment. So it's just the process, really. So it's very much about having that open dialogue, even during the treatment. It's not the person just lays on the mat and, I do stuff to them. I want to check with them, how is the pressure? Is it, it should never be painful, but, I want to talk to the person about any discomfort they feel and what is the nature of that. Because discomfort isn't to be avoided. The treatment is a purge. We hold things in our body, we hold patterns and tensions and stresses in our body, and they have knock-on effects. And when we've held them for a long time, we get very used to them and they become invisible to our consciousness. So by bringing awareness, if I have some kind of deep-rooted pain in my shoulder, the pain is actually gone now because it's kind of numbed. Well, at first I might not feel the pain, but through deeper work, the physical work stimulates the nerves, that connection to the brain. Suddenly you start to feel something that you might have been holding. You're holding it because you have some emotional connection to it. So the discomfort is sometimes working through and being able to let go. So, hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, it did. So, you kind of were saying that it brings about healing. So is Thai massage for everyone then? Would you say that?
In general, I would say yes. I mean, depending on, there are obviously certain conditions which would be indicative of certain treatments. So for example, if someone's pregnant, I wouldn't do the same treatment as if they weren't. But they can still receive a treatment. It's just about me knowing what conditions they have, And as much as anything, you know, one of the things I do find, obviously doing Thai massage in the West is, you know, people tell me about their conditions, but they tell me their Western diagnosis. Of course, I wouldn't expect anything different. But in the way that I work, it's a bit of an apples and oranges thing. You know, I can't treat a Western diagnosis with an Eastern modality. So I want to ask them questions, you know, not so much about, oh, okay, you have fibromyalgia, but how does that feel? When does it flare up? What are the qualities of those feelings? What does it, you know? So I'm working more, it's about kind of interpreting what they tell me. So as long as, you know, if anyone has any kind of physical health issues, I'm always happy to talk on the phone before they even come for a treatment. Obviously, like I said, then we do a consultation. I'm very open to feedback during the treatment. If something doesn't work, then we step back and we try something else. It's trial and error, but I think the important thing is that it's a very holistic way of working. You know, if someone comes and they say their knee hurts, I'm not just going to look at their knee. There are other things that could be causing the pain in that knee. So it's about asking the right questions, exploring a bit, getting feedback, and you know, having a course of treatment that is as effective as we can make it.
Brilliant. Yeah, so I mean, there are slight differences with other kind of treatments, because, you know, having had a treatment from you is that you're not on a bench, so you're on a mat rather than not a mat like as an exercise mat, but a big mat, and use oils. What other differences do you think is from like other massages?
Like I said, I have to be careful if I'm talking about other types of treatment. I can talk about treatments I've had, but I haven't studied other types of massage, you know. So I think the training I've done is amazing, and it's very easy for me to say, oh, it's so much better than other types because of this, this, and this. But
of course,
you know, I don't know the details of how people are trained.
But
I think the clear differences are, like you said, I don't do the treatments on a massage table. So most people have been for a massage where you strip to your underwear, they cover you in a towel, you put your head through the little hole, and they rub oil on you. So I do sometimes use oil and sometimes directly on the skin. Well, actually always directly on the skin. I don't put it on people's clothes, but not very often. I use oils a little bit more now because I'm learning more about kind of the benefits of medicinal balms and liniments and different types of oils. So a little bit more than I used to, but generally, like you said, the treatment is done on a mat on the floor. I might ask people to lie on their front, their back, their side, sit up. Whatever, it's always a combination between what's easiest for me to work and obviously a position that they're comfortable in. And generally the person is clothed during the treatment as well. So I think one of the things that I really like about the treatment, both giving and receiving, is it allows, because you're clothed, it allows for a kind of a tactile nature that I think is actually really healing in itself. You know, we're social mammals, right? Touch is really important to us, and touch can be very healing. And because of the way that I work, it means that sometimes there is there's body contact between the therapist and between the person doing the treatment and the client, right? So I don't know. I think in a way it's a bit more personal. There are other kind of, I don't know, I don't even want to get into like other connotations of oil massage and stuff, but I think like I said, the treatment's on a mat, you're clothed. But I would say also that I have done treatments for people. I've had some elderly clients who don't have the mobility to get on the floor and get back up again, and I've done the treatment on a chair. So you know, something my teacher always says is this should be kitchen medicine. You know, so as much as it's nice to have a nice setup and makes people comfortable and you know, burn incense or play music or whatever it may be. You know, when I go visit my family, if someone has an ache and pain, I give them a treatment sitting in the room while, you know, the kids are running around screaming or whatever it may be. So it doesn't have to be this kind of spa type of thing, and it's still effective. So
yeah, brilliant. So thank you, Neil. Thank you for all those insights into Thai massage, and, you know, especially the benefits and the backgrounds, you know, that there's different types of learning in terms of Thai massage, but also the fact that, you know, treatment is done clothed, it's on a mat, and, you know, it's a holistic approach that you take. So it's really good insight. So hopefully our viewers and our listeners will have a clearer idea about Thai massage now. So Neil, where can people find you? What's your, you know, Facebook and everything like that?
So yeah, my business is called Taiwan Massage and Bodywork. I know you've got the links in the description and stuff. So yeah, on Facebook it's Taiwan Massage and Bodywork. On Instagram it's Taiwan Massage. So it's THAI and then ONE. Don't have a website as yet. If anyone wants to exchange expertise in building a website for treatments, I'm happy to have that conversation. I am based, my studio's in Chingford, but I do home visits across London. So, you know, I have clients I see in South London, yeah, all over. So, yeah, people can contact me. We can have a chat. If they think it's for them, great. If they don't, it's fine as well.
Brilliant. So what freebies have you got for our listeners, our audience at the moment? What freebies are you doing? Or is it just the free consultation that you have at the moment?
I did a free consultation for every new client. Yep. I did have an offer at the start of January, but yeah, we're not there now. Yeah, you put me well on the spot.
The free consultation is all good. So
that's half an hour. That's half an hour. So yeah, we do that every time. I mean, we could do like I don't know, what can we do? So let's why don't we say like 10% off if you listen to this podcast to the end here. I don't know how long we've been going, but listen all the way
to the end.
When you contact me, say Jackie 10, and you'll get 10% off your first treatment as well as.
There we go.
How about that?
There we go, guys. You get, by saying Jackie 10, you get 10% off your first treatment and also your free consultation. So that is just amazing. So make sure that you get in touch with Neil if you need any Thai massage. If you've not tried it, definitely go to Neil. I've tried it, and actually I tried it at an event. That's where I met Neil, and my back was actually killing me that day, and I don't know, he put my legs up in the air and all that, and next minute I was all good. So make sure that you get in touch with him, especially if you've got any back pain or any other ailments. You know, have a chat with Neil and he'll be able to check out whether he can help you with that. All right. So take care, guys, and I will see you next week. Hope you have any operational problems or technical problems. We will be here with another person who is in health, wellness, nutrition, mindset, you know. So make sure that you either check me out here, check me up on YouTube or on my podcast, and I soon will be on Roku and Amazon Fire. So guys, take care, have a great night. Bye.